All right, everybody, welcome back to the Modern Super League. My name's Corey Ballmeister. That's Carmen Klumperens. Bringing you round number 3 here. And yeah, Carmen, that didn't go so well for me, I must say.
Listen, you did a great job observing Simon play Magic with us and the rest of chat. So I thought you did great.
Yeah, honestly, it was one of my better observing games that I've had in a while. I really got to focus and learn a lot. So, I feel mentally and, physically ready to watch Simon combo off again against Nathan.
Honestly, I'm really excited to see this match. I think this is maybe the match out of our pod I'm the most excited to see how it plays out. I mean, no offense, I'm kind of playing this weird like combo-y graveyard deck. You're doing Tron stuff. I think they're playing the two interesting decks, so I'm really excited to see what's coming.
Honestly, I think we're all villains in our own regard here. We're all kind of playing something that, I don't know, if any of us expected each other to be playing. I kind of put you on Scam, and I thought they were going to play Rhinos. I wasn't necessarily anticipating to play against a spell-based Blood Moon deck, but here we are,
I definitely saw Gift Storm, and it was a weird looking at the calendar, what year is it kind of moment. I love the deck, and it's so cool what Flames of Anor has done for it. I believe it was John Jansen is the name of the person that Simon covered at Nordic Masters last weekend, who went an astonishing like 11-0 with it before losing in the finals of the event. So it's I don't know, it's not proven, but that's a result. That's something.
That is a result that I wish didn't happen, only for the sake that Simon wouldn't have played it. But otherwise, huge congratulations on them for dominating the tournament. So getting ready for this round, let's take a look at the deck list here real quick before we hop in, give people a little refresher course of what we're going to be seeing in this round. Starting off with Simon's Storm deck. Walk us through this, Carmen.
So a lot of what this deck is trying to do is basically cast 3 rituals into a Gifts Ungiven while it has a Baral or an Electromancer in play, and that's going to give it enough mana and cards to flash back cards with Past in Flames, cast more Gifts Ungivens, and Grape Shot the opponent out.
Okay, perfect. Yep, trying to combo out, as we saw plenty of times in those last 2 games. Hopefully you all missed it, but in case you did see it, now you know exactly how that deck works to its max efficiency. So let's take a look at Nathan's deck. Now, this is the big bad. Technically, we got Mardu Scam here, but really this is a Rakdos Scam deck. How do you think this fares, Carmen, against a Storm deck? I wasn't interacting much, but that's not necessarily the name of the game for Nathan.
No, I'm kind of expecting things to be a lot harder for Simon playing against this deck. You obviously have your Grief plus one of the Not Dead After All Feign Death effects that are going to give you multiple Thought Seizes on turn 1. And then you get main deck hate cards and cards like Dothy Voidwalker, Orcish Bowmasters that make the cantrips, the Past in Flames, not work as much as you would like them to. And if you look over at the sideboard, I would say it gets worse somehow.
Yeah, it really does. We see plenty of graveyard hate as well over there, as well as some chalices. Maybe chalice not the answer. I think maybe it used to be pre-Flames of Anor, as we kind of saw when I cast it. It really did nothing but be a speed bump in Simon's way. But yeah, it's really crazy that Dothy Voidwalker is somehow a hate card against every single deck.
Everyone wants to use their graveyard, like an idiot, I guess.
I guess. All right, well, it sounds like the match is ready. So let's head on in to the match between 2 members of Team Handshake. All right, everyone, welcome back to the match here. We got Simon up against Nathan Stoyer. Looks like I don't see exactly who's on the play, but how important is that, Carmen, to be on the play here? Is it not that relevant?
Honestly, I'm not even sure if you want to be on the play or the draw if you're in the Storm seat, because a lot of times you're thinking, hey, I want to get out ahead of something like Grief, but against Thoughtseize decks, just having a higher number of resources, aka being on the draw, can be even better. So I really could see these 2 players doing some strange stuff with going first and going second.
Yeah, I love that. I love the old going second thing. I mean, I believe, you were around back in those days as well. We can show our age, where it was like Rakdos Dark Confidant Mirrors, where you would choose the draw instead of the play. I love those kind of dynamics.
Yeah, it was always so interesting. It's, old blue mirrors, for example, where you just go, look, I want to
Absolutely.
hit a land drop, and neither of us are going to cast a spell till turn 8. So who cares if my turn 8 comes first?
Now these young whippersnappers are casting 4/3s for 1 mana that also double Thoughtseize. Back in my day, we wouldn't do anything anywhere near like that.
Okay, hold on. It has menace, and you left that off.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was. How could I be so foolish?
All
All
right,
right. So
sevens
looking at
from both
the
players. Pretty
yeah,
nice.
and I was thinking, what about that hand from the top from Simon there? We haven't considered, but is that a little risky?
Yeah, this is a spot where Simon can't really afford to sandbag any of his cantrips because Stoyer can just bring an Orcish Bowmasters and punish him for even casting things like Consider.
Yeah, I suppose the old consider preordained deck. Orcish Bowmaster does a number on it. At least you have the one thing going that you can kind of cast one of these considers or preordained per turn and not lose, like, let's say, Baral or your Electromancer, but it's still going to be damage that's going to add up pretty quickly.
Oh, and it looks like Simon actually missed on a land on this Consider?
Ow.
Is this hand just awful now?
I mean, it's definitely awful without a land.
Right, and yeah, a lot's riding on this next draw step from Nielsen. A lot of Past in Flames, Gifts Ungiven, just 4 mana cards.
And speaking of needing a land, ooh, there it is. That's a big draw as well. But I loved your match, Carmen, against Nathan Stoyer for that game 2 where you're like, all right, all I need in these 2 draw steps is a land and a Shardless Agent. Oh, there they are.
Look, I wasn't winning a game where I didn't draw them, so I put the cards in my deck to draw them.
I loved it. That was an awesome moment.
And now, what do you think Simon's thinking about? It's just jamming Baral?
Yeah, just jamming Brawl or holding up. No, that's not a reman in there. I kind of thought that was reman and gifts, but I think you're just priced in, right? What are you going to do if you just say go here? I mean, I think you just have to play Baral, hope that Nathan goes either Dothy or, God forbid if Dash Regavan was the plan. Baral is an excellent stop here for that. This surprises me a lot to not go for a creature here.
Ooh, yeah, and it looks like not much red mana actually on Stoyer's side. Maybe that played into it, but Dothy Voidwalker hits the table for Stoyer.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the Fury would have dealt with Baral, so it's not like it would have been, Simon just going off this turn or anything, because Fury is very primed to deal with this anyways. But now it looks like Simon just said, enough is enough. I got to at least play something here to get on the board before this Dothy starts presenting some damage.
Right, and when you're just drawing spells and you're choked on mana, it's generally better to just play your cards so you don't just die with a bunch of uncastables in your hand.
Exactly. Okay, so now you're the Storm Master here. What do you say? Do you try to go rituals first, or is it just Manamorphose and then see? Because if you Manamorphose first and you don't hit a land, you can't ritual, correct?
Yeah, I think here I would be inclined to just Manamorphose and cycle it if I were going to do anything, but you're about a land away from really being happy about casting any of your big spells, and you're not under a ton of pressure.
Hey, hear me out, though. You can go ritual, Manamorphose gifts, okay? I mean, that's an option.
That's legal. That's just allowed. Like, no one will even arrest you.
Game actions are fun, okay, Carmen? I didn't take a lot of them last match, but, I watched so many game actions. Hopefully I get to click a few more buttons against you.
All right, let's see what the game action enthusiast Nielsen does. It's not Jam Baral, that's what.
Yeah, go into second main phase, I guess, to get a vibe if there's any other instant speed stuff from Nathan or just maybe a second guess. I think I would jam Baral here, though. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's so tough. I feel like you almost have to, but you can't exactly combo under a Dothy Voidwalker either. Right? Just because it's eating all the cards in your graveyard, your passive flames don't do anything. It's a little unclear to me what Nielsen is drawing to. I would guess it's just either a land or a natural grape shot, but
yeah, being able, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. You can't really gift Ungiven and then just grape shot's automatically going to hit the yard, which is going to get exiled. The one thing that is pretty nice with grape shot here is the copies will kill Dothy Voidwalker, so the original one actually goes to the graveyard. But that's the only silver lining here in this aspect for Simon.
When we see a discard step for Simon, which is really committing to not running this Baral and expecting to get to untap with it, which I think is heads up. If you're in Nielsen's
Yeah.
seat seeing Stoyer stuck off red, I think it's reasonable to assume there's another Fury in hand.
Yep, Fury or the Fatal Push that we see, which would have been kind of a train wreck for Simon. But speaking of train wrecks,
Yeah, Orcish Bowmaster is off the top. The best way to meet Simon's preordain off the top.
were you involved in creating that beautiful card, Orcish Bowmasters?
Well, I can say I was in the building.
Okay.
I didn't do as much on Lord of the Rings. Most of my work for this year was on All Will Be One.
Oh, okay, cool. Perfect.
But yeah, this
I was
card
gonna
is doing
say,
a lot.
if you did create that card, I have some words to pick with you because it destroys every deck that I play in a tournament, mostly Jeskai Breach. So I guess I can save those words then, huh?
Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't think Thassa's Oracle's ever the good guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't like Orcish Bowmasters, but this is a really tough hill to pick, you know?
Yeah, Underworld Breach and Thassa's Oracle, probably not the most fun cards to play against either. But you know what? Here we are.
All right, here we are watching Simon Nielsen just combo into Orcish Bowmasters.
Love it.
I assume he's conceding. Yep.
All right, that's game number 1. Going to Nathan Stoyer. And a little reminder for everyone at home, these players are 1-0. They defeated us. And the winner of this match advances to the winner's pod to be playing around week 5. And the losers will be playing afterwards. And so far, for Carmen and I, we got some work to do to not be in that loser's pod here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely got our work cut out for us. We're at least going to have to go through each other after this match. But for now, it looks like Simon is taking out Remands, taking out a Gifts Ungiven, just trimming a lot of cards. A lot of respect being paid to the 2-mana Hate Bears that Stoyer is able to bring.
Like it. Remand, well, it is excellent against Tron, not so great up against the deck. That's a lot of 1-drops or free cards in general here. Flames of Anor is staying in, though. That's actually a card that I've found to be quite good against these Rakdos Evoke decks. Just any time you can get that, well, essentially 3-for-1 if you kill a creature and draw 2 cards, it's really devastating for that deck to come back from.
Right, it's easy to get caught up in the details of stuff like Orcish Bowmasters and go, oh, I can't play any card draw, what have you. But you still have to win a game, right? You're not winning games that you don't check the Bowmaster anyway. We see a bunch of Spike Field Hazards. We see these lightning bolts coming in. If you're checking the Bowmasters, you do need ways to gas back up. And Flames of Anor has been remarkable at that role.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now how does Flames of Anor work with a Bowmaster on the battlefield? It happens in order, right? You have to draw and then you would kill the Bowmaster, so they would automatically still get 2 amass. Is that correct?
That is correct. I don't think the order would matter because technically the whole card resolves before state-based effects would check and kill the Bowmaster. Okay. But yeah, it's a pretty painful way to kill an Orcish Bowmaster.
Yeah, fair. So we do see from Nathan's side, we're seeing Engineered Explosive be brought in. Now, normally with just Goblin Electromancer and Baral, that is not necessarily the plan that you want to have. But this is an open deck list event where we do see Empty the Warrens in Simon's sideboard. And while that card maybe is not as good against, a Karn deck with a bunch of EEs in the board, it's a lot better against Nathan where he would have to naturally draw EEs. So I believe he left in 1. Maybe he took them all out there at the end.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of waffling on if Stoyer wanted to have, say, the pressure of something like Fury or the consistency of Fable of the Mirror Breaker and ended up trimming copies of Fury.
And I'm going to go on a limb and say he did leave in 1 EE at least, since it is in the opening hand.
Yep, and I think this is a fine hedge.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Now for Nathan being on the draw, we'll check out his hand first. I believe this is a keep. We got the turn 1 Grief Scam and 1 mulligan there from Simon with a pretty respectable hand.
Well, I would like to wish
for now
your friend and competitor Simon Nielsen hello, and I cannot stress this enough. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carmen, if it looks as bad, for this game as it kind of seems on surface value for Simon, I kind of hope I lose to you so you can at least have a chance up against Simon. Otherwise, I just have the great joy of losing to him again.
I mean, and I believe it's in the comp rules. I'm a bit rusty, but a player can concede at any time. So here it around, just maybe be thinking about that.
Gotcha. But you got to still remember the pride from Magic players, and I think the last time we played was at Pro Tour Hogak in the limited rounds where you Hogacked me. And I was like, dang it.
Oh yeah, no, it was really nice. I very skillfully had Altar of Dementia and Hogak in our 40 card format.
Yes. Well, I do remember I passed to you and I picked between Hogak and some other card, and we talked after that match, and I was like, should I have done this? And you're like, absolutely not. I was like, okay, so I deserve it. I was playing Hogak too, so I really made some mistakes here, but
listen, it's okay.
Getting back to the game here, we have Desperate Ritual and Flame of Anor being taken with the double grief, leaving the two creatures. So Nathan is just saying, you know what? I want you to play out these creatures and maybe get some value off something like EE, but decides the spells are much more problematic and much more of an urgent threat. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. Stoyer's deck in general just has more cards that can answer creatures on the battlefield, things like Fury, just general removal spells, right? Than it does more hand disruption at the point that you already have a grief on the battlefield. So I like this navigation from Stoyer. And we see Engineered Explosives on 2 in particular, just saying, hey, what's up, Goblin Electromancer?
Yeah. That's interesting to me. It almost seemed like Nathan could have gotten a little bit more value if he didn't play it right now because, well, the one thing that Baral and Goblin Electromancer have going for them is their toughness adds up to 5 instead of 4. So you're not as punished if you play them both. You're not really going to get furied. So maybe there was a world where Nathan could have kind of baited Simon into playing both and then getting them both with the EE, but maybe that was a little too greedy.
Yeah, I suspect that players at this level aren't necessarily going to just take that sort of bait unless they're literally going to be winning the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Simon gotta feel relieved to cast a Preordain into a tapped out opponent that could have Orcish Bowmasters. You just feel like you're getting away with something every time. As high dopamine as cards like Preordain are, this is even better.
Oh, 100%. Anytime I can get value off beating an Orcish Bowmaster, I feel good. So that is for sure. See, Preordain picked up a Goblin Electromancer. Just a bunch of creatures here in this spell-based Storm deck is not really ideal for Simon.
He's one land away from casting a copy of Gigantha, which not the best against grief.
Yeah. But not the worst.
No,
grief trading with Electromancer or whatever, that's, completely reasonable here.
5 power and 5 toughness are good numbers against a lot of what this Rakdos Evoke deck is bringing.
Yeah, really true, especially when you get these kind of grief take 2 cards from you starts from the scam deck. The companion can actually really add up. It's no Yorion or anything like that, but it's still a nice power and toughness.
Stoyer at this point just weighing, okay, I think I've probably got this game, but I need to make sure not to throw it.
Yeah, now it's interesting to either cast Fatal Push or just EE here and leave the Fatal Push. It's more mana efficient, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I like popping the Engineered Explosives here.
How do you play Dothy is the real question. Or do you just hold up Fatal Push?
I suspect you're more interested in holding up Fatal Push. You have 6 power on the battlefield, so developing extra power, probably not that great. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Hate Rock is worth it, but
I like playing Dothy because then Gigantha is just not a possible plan, right? Otherwise, you can just play Gigantha and block.
Yeah, no, that's a really fair point.
But if Gigantha's the only thing you're worried about, I think, Nathan's probably doing all right.
Right, at that point, you just have put your opponent at 2 and put them in check the following turn.
Yeah. And there's no real, kind of taking a peek at deck lists here. There's no real like sweeper, you know, there's no Anger the God. There's just spot removal. So going extra wide on a battlefield isn't as bad, except for like spell, grape shot, 2-for-1 you type thing. But decides against Voidwalker just holding up Fatal Push.
All right, making 2 blockers here. This is respectable.
So it would have been Nathan winning the game if he did play Voidwalker in hindsight, but honestly, it's probably going to be that same result here, a turn away. Really tough to think what Simon's draw could be that would equal a win with a Dothy on the battlefield. I mean, otherwise it'd be gifts, but I don't think that's enough here.
Yeah, I think it could just be remand into combo is most of what he was worried about. So this is just 100% in 2 turns instead of 85% in 1 turn.
Yeah. Yep. Nice disciplined play by Nathan there to pick up this W. And I mean, really, would we have it any other way here? You know, maybe you would for the first round with Nathan beating you, but you know, the world champion being the first one into the winner bracket can't really surprise too many people out there.
Look, personally, I would have to say there are other ways I would have rather had it. Like, you know, just anecdotally, but
yes.
I understand other people's perspectives.
Yeah, it's a little tougher to be like, wow, we really expected that person to be the first one into the winner's bracket when we're also playing in the event.